All right, team, we're talking Granfalloon bias. How can it impact your decision making? Granfalloon was a term coined by Kurt Vonnegut. He was an author from the 60s. He wrote Cat's Cradle. In Cat's Cradle, in this novel, there was a religion of Bacchanalism. The religion had several concepts, right? And in order to understand what a Granfalloon was, which was one of the concepts, we've got to understand two other concepts. The first is a karass. A karass is a group of people that are deeply connected spiritually without any obvious connection on the surface. The second concept is a dupras. A dupras is kind of what it sounds like, two people who are linked together deeply on a spiritual level who almost always die within a week of each other. And the third concept is a Granfalloon. A Granfalloon is a made-up artificial group of people. Another way to put it is a group of people who are connected through something that is ultimately meaningless, right? So what he says in his book is, if you wish to examine a Granfalloon, simply cut the skin of a toy balloon. In other words, you open it up, there ain't nothing in there, okay? So a Granfalloon is a group of people that are connected by something that ultimately is manufactured and means nothing. And that happens to us all the time, right? We're connected on these levels that ultimately don't really do anything to provide spiritual connection or intellectual intimacy or anything that really matters or that's lasting in any way, right? I remember I was at my gym a couple of weeks ago, a jiu-jitsu gym. So we're all lined up, we're ready to start class, and coach goes, I want you guys to go on that side of the room, you guys go on that side of the room. And instantly, we were enemies. My side of the room was enemies with the other side of the room. Now we're all on the same team, we go to the same gym, but by golly, I'm on this wall and you're on that wall. We're right side of the gym wall people over here, and we start talking, we're a team now. It wasn't even a team contest, and it's not a team sport, and it wasn't a team activity, but we couldn't resist the human urge to collect ourselves in this group and associate deeply with one another based on nothing, what side of the room we're standing on. And so we've got to be really mindful of that. What groups are we associating ourselves with throughout life that ultimately don't mean anything? In Cat's Cradle, Kurt Vonnegut uses Hoosiers as an example. And so what he says is, Hoosiers, people from Indiana want to say they're a part of something, but ultimately it doesn't tell you anything about those people. And you might have two different people who really share nothing important in common, but geez, they're Hoosiers. So now it's different, right? Because if you're from Texas, it really does matter, and that's a deep spiritual connection to be from Texas. So if you're not from Texas, I'm sorry for you, wouldn't understand. Here's my tip, if I could boil it down, is identify the groups that you might unconsciously be associating yourself with, that don't matter, that aren't furthering your goals, that don't help you fulfill your values, and break away from those. Break away from the identities which are not long lasting. And that can help us avoid taking in information that might threaten an identity that we shouldn't have, that doesn't really mean anything, that doesn't further our goals.